highest title I ever achieved in life was Lowell's dad. So let me make this modest but not Swiftian proposal. Within the next 2 decades, many of Lowell's fellow millennials will start their own families. Some of them will have male children. Imagine if America enjoyed a boom lap of boys named Lowell something, or even Lowell Ensel something. Now, I'm not suggesting that anyone rush out of here and do something rash. I'm just planting a seed of thought for the future. Someday, you too could be Lowell's dad or Lowell's mom, and explain why you could be proud of that name. Now Lowell's mom has a statement to read, followed by some poems.
I'm going to read a statement from Gregory Staley, Professor, Director of Honors Humanities at the University of Maryland. It's called Lowell and His Purple Crayon, a Memorial. Lowell once told me that his favorite book from his childhood was Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. Harold could go anywhere and do anything he wanted with his purple crayon. Lowell had his own purple crayon and used it to create a beautiful and colorful life. We all know that he had many passions: baseball, movies, his fraternity, and the humanities. I want to celebrate Lowell the humanist, for in many ways that was the passion which animated all of his other loves and tied them together into a meaningful whole. We will always be thankful that when Lowell was invited to join the Honors College at Maryland as a Banneker Key Scholar, he chose to become a member of the Honors Humanities program. Perhaps he chose us because our color is purple. In his very first essay for our introductory course, however, he suggested a broader and deeper reason when he wrote, "The next time someone says the humanities are unimportant and expendable, remember how critical they are to the spirit, manifestation, and livelihood of who we are. The humanities are about celebrating everyone's differences in how people express themselves, about celebrating what makes us human." Lowell lived every word in this description. The humanities were the spirit and manifestation of who he was and always will be in our memories. It was the love of human expression which led Lowell to become a filmmaker. For movies are narratives, visual and verbal, the modern equivalent of myths. One of the things that most impressed me about In the Midterm, the film which Lowell created as his keystone project in Honors Humanities, was the quality of the dialogue. Lowell knew how to give voice, or better said, many voices, to the different characters who populated his imagined world. That was because Lowell knew how to listen, to hear others, and through that ability to understand and relate to them. When I saw the film a second time, I noticed that one of the extras in it was a bright but somewhat reticent freshman in our program. He and Lowell were both in my Keystone Lab, and undoubtedly through that connection, Lowell reached out to his fellow student and got him involved in the project. Ellen and Fenwick have donated Lowell's film equipment to our program so that others might use it in the future. When I recently voiced some concern that no one might know how to do so, that reticent student volunteered that from his work with Lowell, he could do so. Lowell's ability to listen to others, to understand and to relate to them, will now be passed on in the legacy of filmmaking and community making that he combined so seamlessly. Several of Lowell's fraternity brothers have recalled his tendency to come up with new and wild ideas. In Honors Humanities, we encourage that tendency. We teach our introductory course as Fearless Ideas in the Humanities and invite students to suggest their own candidates for that title. Lowell proposed one titled I Dreamed a Dream. In his entry, he wrote, "Two of the paramount elements of the humanities are identity and a sense of purpose. The dream world is a place where anything is possible. Dreams are intrinsically humanistic." Lowell was a dreamer in the best sense. He created imaginary worlds in his films, and in his study of government and politics, he imagined ways in which to make the real world a better place. In the tradition of Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, I Have Dreamed. This desire led to his internship on Capitol Hill and to his plans to work for the Federal Emergency Management Agency this summer. It was only in his dreams that Harold could do anything he wanted with his purple crayon. But Lowell made his dreams a reality. He colored his world purple, and in the process made it a brighter and happier place for all of us who knew him. Thank you.
I just want to speak for a moment about longevity, because I believe our culture is obsessed with it. Everything needs to last longer, needs to be around forever, and that's simply not always the case. And for me, personally, the only way to get through this is to think about, not get stuck on that because you died much too young, but to think about how bright he burned, how bright a light he was to so many people. And for 20 years old, like you've seen in the films, for 20 years old to have done that already, to have already had an internship on Capitol Hill, to bring so much joy to his parents and to his family. There are people 3 and 4 times that age who haven't done that much. And may have dreamed of making a film, may have dreamed of being in politics and never were able to. And so to be 20 years old and to have done that, I mean, that's, my wife and my kids and I were from Maine, and so I was trying to explain what had happened and telling people that's all I could do. I could say he was doing so well and had so much potential, and then I had to think again, no, we won't get to see that, but what greatness we did get to see. And again, that is a blessing to all of us, that he held up such a life like that. Because again, you don't, just because you live 60, 70, 80 years doesn't mean you're going to be able to do that either. So thank you, Lowell. We love you.
We had to our place in Wisconsin. We had an acre of land that needed to be mowed. And he jumped on the John Deere riding lawnmower and went at it. And he was a speed demon back then, and even crashed into the lilac bush. And a politician, his uncanny ability to persuade Ellen and Fenwick to buy a car when he came of age and wanted to drive. And most of all, a friend. Among all his attributes, I want to speak specifically about Lowell's ability to create and embrace friendship. When we were children, we grew up with some wonderful ideas inherent in something called bios, which means life wisdom. This philosophy of life, started by Frederick Kettner, focused on friendship as the basis of our existence. In a short essay, Dr. Kettner wrote, "The religion of friendship leads us to the discovery of the highest values in others. When we become interested not only in the instruction of our mind, but also in the education of our character, we learn more and more adequately how to live by the laws and principles which are expressive of our innermost existence. Humanity has to learn an entirely new language, the language of friendship or creativeness." Lowell embodied the essential nature of friendship. He recognized the highest values in others. He not only learned the language of friendship, but lived it every day in everything that he did. His last movie, In the Midterm, was about friendship, and he told Ellen that his foundation and philosophical ideas contributed to this work. Lowell's presence was large. He was passionate, creative, and engaged in life. He had many circles of friends and drew them together as a matter of course because of how he lived his life. You'll be hearing from many of those circles of friends next. These words by Edwin Markham capture the way Lowell included all his friends. He drew a circle that shut me out. heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I have the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. Lowell was always drawing wider and wider circles, including everyone. There's a poem by Dr. Kettner that Ellen always enjoyed that speaks to Lowell's depth of character. To live as a soul, this is thy prayer. In thy spirit being, dissolve all care. What is this being? Thy creative friend. Love, wisdom, purity, peace without end. We will miss Lowell very much and love him deeply. Thank you. Eric?
Hi. I'm Eric Pilsk. I'm not related to Lowell, and I'm obviously not a classmate of his. But I had the opportunity to watch Lowell grow up, watch him through the rearview mirror of our van in baseball carpools, from the sidelines of countless baseball fields across Montgomery County, and as one of David's friends hanging out at our house. So I want to share with you what I saw. Actually, I want to share with you first what I heard. Because I always heard Lowell much before I saw him. From downstairs, as a bunch of them watched movies or played games, we could always hear Lowell laughing the loudest, arguing and explaining. From the back of the car to and from baseball games, we heard Lowell stating his case for the Yankees, or railing against the umpire or the other team, or just stating his views on whatever the topic of discussion was. And from the stands or chairs next to baseball fields, you could hear Lowell cheering his teammates, expressing outrage at the umpire's obviously wrong call, or shouting in triumph or frustration at his own play. And that was Lowell, often loud, always opinionated, always engaged, and always at the center of things. But what I saw, excuse me, says even more about who Lowell was. I definitely saw that he was kind of goofy, kind of nerdy, kind of different. But I saw that he was propelled by an unself-conscious confidence, intelligence, and passion that drew people in and made that goofy kid the guy everybody wanted to hang with. He turned his friends into his film crew. He turned their parents and their cars into his cast. He turned friends who played jazz and classical music into rap experts. He introduced otherwise healthy eaters into silver diner, fat breakfasts, and a range of alarming junk foods. I know that because I saw the empty cans and fast food boxes and chip bags in our living room the next morning. And if he did not succeed in turning anyone into a Yankees fan, it was not for lack of trying. As a parent, I also saw a young man whose parents gave him the greatest skill of all. Confidence and support to be himself, wholeheartedly, unapologetically himself. And it showed in everything he did, in what passions he chose to follow, in his independence, in the way he naturally succeeded, and in the way that everyone he met became his friends. I don't know what Ellen and Finn would cook for dinner, but it was nourishing stuff. There's no satisfying way to end this. It's not right that we're here now talking about Lowell without Lowell. All I can do is be grateful for the time we shared with him and thank Fenwick and Ellen for sharing Lowell with us. I think Lazar is coming up.
Hi everyone, my name is Nazar. I was in Honors Humanities with Lowell. I also lived on this floor for the past 2 years, and I'm also a Maryland Images Campus tour guide with him. And I think he really was a significant part of both of those programs that I'm involved with. I have a lot of stories with Lowell over the past 2 years, but one of my favorite ones, I think it really embodies who Lowell was and what he could do for and to people. A few months ago, we had a snow day. It was sometime in February. And Lowell said, Ness, let's go on a snow venture. I said, okay. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, okay, let's go. It's 10 degrees outside. We're all bundled up and everything you can think of. He says, I know exactly where we're going. Just follow me. I'll be your tour guide. So we walked over to the Memorial Chapel on campus. So it's right down the hall. It was like a 10-minute walk. So we're walking down there. He says, I know what we're going to do. There's a little pathway around the Serenity Garden where you can just walk a path and you put a rock in the middle. So while you're walking the path, you're just supposed to, think about good memories and just kind of have, clear your head and think about the good times that you're going through. And so we go over there, and like I said, it was a snow day. So we're like, okay, we're gonna walk this path, it's gonna be awesome, I love it, I do it all the time. We go there, and the entire path is covered in snow. So we can't see it at all. And I'm like, okay, maybe we can come back a different day and do the path another time. He says, no, we're gonna make our own path. So if you say so. So we start walking around, it's a circle, so we start walking around and making our own path with our footprints. And he keeps yelling at me, Nat, you're messing up, you have to go in order. It has to be in detail. Why do you keep stepping out of line? So it's like his attention to detail, like you can see in his movies, and you can see in his organization of his movies on his bookshelf, which is perfect, alphabetical order. So you can really see like how meticulous he was, and he was really telling me what to do. But we walked around the circle, we put our rock in the middle, and we were just like talking about all the memories that we've shared over the past 2 years. And it just kind of goes to show, like, Lowell was a person who always made you want to go out and have fun and just be with the people that you really cared about. Even if it was against your will, even if he had to drag you out there at 2 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold, he was the only one that I would do any of those things for and with. And he really just was a great guy, and he was the kind of person to bring everyone together, whether it was in Honors Humanities, whether it was in Images, whether it was beta events, whatever it was, he was always the person to bring us all together. And I feel very unlucky to lose him so soon, but I feel infinitely more lucky to have had him in my life, even if it was just for 2 years. He made a really big impact on my life, and I really can't thank him enough for being there for me these past 2 years and just being an amazing friend and an amazing person overall. So thank you for listening to me. Bronwyn is going to come up next and tell her what this is. I also knew Lowell through the Honors Humanities program. He lived on the 2nd floor, I lived on the 3rd floor. I didn't really get to know him though until the start of 2nd semester. I was a government major and so was he, and we both gagged over his internship because we were fangirls. One of the things that Lowell did for me that I really don't think I got to thank him enough for was introducing me back into music. My senior year of high school, I had a concussion, and it came with me to college. I had no idea of music, and I wasn't into it, and I wasn't planning on getting back into it for a while. It just became my life to not have it. One of the first times I hang out with him, he had on some rapper, and I was the girl in the room to be like, who's playing? He's like, it's Childish Gambino. And then I asked a stupid question, who's that? So then I got easily an hour-long rant about Childish Gambino, Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, and a varying amount of artists I had never heard of before. And then throughout the various months, he would educate me on the different types of music he liked, and then I, over spring break, was very inspired by his passion for music, because he not only wanted to share what he had, he wanted to make me have his love for music as well, and no one had that before with me. I had many friends who are into music, classic, rock, rap, whatever, but no one had ever wanted me to have that passion as well. And that meant a lot to me. I could sit up here all day and tell you stories, but he was probably somebody who will always inspire me, no matter now that he's dead. When he was alive, he did it too, all the time. Thank you for letting me share my story, and thank you for also making me feel that I can love Lowell just as much as all of you. The next people to come up are people for our cast from his last movie in the midterm, which I highly suggest. we are the cast from In the Midterm, which, if you don't know, was Lowell's last big bonanza of his film project that he did for the Honors Humanities program. So first is Molly, and she'd just like to say some words.
Hi, for those of you that don't know me, I played Madison, if you've seen the film. And I wrote something the night of May 11th, and I sent it to Lowell's parents a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to read part of it today. So, Lowell was my friend. In the year and a half that I knew him, we took 4 classes together and spent countless hours on the pride of his college career, if I do say so myself, and that was the film project. But it's too selfish to say that he was my friend, because Lowell was a friend. He was a friend to everyone he encountered. Even if you only met a person once, every time you saw them after that, he'd make sure to greet them with a smile and ask how they were. I realized just how many people he was a friend to immediately after the announcement of his passing. His entire living and learning community, his fraternity, the Images Tour Guide group, and the cast of our project gathered together in his campus home, Anne Arundel Hall, just to avoid being alone. I've never seen such a large group of people stricken by such grief. I've never seen tears like that, or heard moans like that. But as we all sat there that May night, hot and sweaty and salty with tears, holding each other just too closely because we couldn't hold him, I was glad. Because if that many people came, it meant Lowell had touched that many people. I did a project of my own on Lowell's film project, and I asked him what the name meant. I still have the recording of his answer. He chose the title because college is the midterm of life. We're no longer children, but the midterm takes what we learn from childhood and helps us prepare for the rest of our lives. For Lowell, this was not the midterm. It was his final project, and that's what breaks my heart the most. But the name wasn't the most important thing about his film. It was the meaning. Because college is difficult, like midterms, and we have our friends to get through it. For a brief time, they become our main support system as we hang in this limbo without our parents, but before our adult lives. Lowell wanted his film to highlight the unique quality of college friendships. I believe he succeeded. After all, a group of near strangers came out of this project, a group of close friends. And Lowell showed us the best sides of ourselves. His favorite thing to say during filming was just one more shot. And on the last night of filming, we all posted pictures on Instagram, joking Lowell would still want one more shot. His Instagram name is Mr. Sunshine, which is his nickname. And just like the sun warms everything it touches, so did Lowell.
One of the things that was so amazing about Lowell is his all-inclusiveness. When we first got together for the read-through of the script, he said to us, I may have written this script, but now I present it to you. This is our project now. And it was so much more than that. He went through so much, and he would always tell us, he would have these ideas and these sudden moments of, oh, okay, well, you need to say it exactly like this. I like the way you're saying it, but this is my image, this is my vision. And we would say, okay, and he'd say, you'll understand when you see it, you'll understand when you see it. And when it all came together, you really could. And there were so many more things. I went to see him speak at the symposium, and when he gave his presentation, he explained things that we had actually never heard about before. And I think that the most important, or the one that stood out to me, was, if you've seen it, the very last scene of the film, we're all walking up these stairs, and then we stop. And he said, those stairs, as we're walking up, it's symbolic. And it can be symbolic of many different things. But the thing that stood out to me the most was the symbolism of the ending. If you've seen it, you know that it stops, and it just holds there for a moment, like a photograph. And he said that the symbolism there is that when we all stop at the top of those stairs, you can't see the horizon, you can't see where we were going or what we were going to do next. But he said that in that moment, you know that they're together, and you know that in that moment, everything's perfect, and they're all going to be friends, and you hope in your mind that it's going to stay that way. And I believe that that really shows if we look right now, this is a photograph, and in this moment, we are all here together, and we all love Lowell so, so much. And I believe that he really has a testimony through that film and through that ending to show that no matter where we go, in this moment and in those moments, we're all together. Thank you.
One of Lowell's fraternity brothers and a cast member in his last movie. Lowell joined our fraternity, Theta Pi, in the spring of 2014. He was always enthusiastic about any activity he participated in. No matter the event, I came to expect Lowell to be there with a huge smile on his face and some fantastic ideas in his head. In chapter meetings, we snap to show our agreement with a statement that somebody's just made. When there was a unanimous opinion about a certain issue, you hear snaps fill the room. However, due to Lowell's unbounded enthusiasm, oftentimes during discussion a statement would be made, and out of the silence you would hear one lone snap start to roll. I would turn my head, and there's Lowell with a big smile on his face, slowly nodding his head with all of his support for what was being said. This is the way he felt about most things that we did as a fraternity. Always bringing an energy that inspired the rest of us to work to better our organization and have a lot of fun doing it. He fully encompassed our core values of the cultivation of the intellect, responsible conduct, mutual assistance, integrity, and trust. It made him a perfect recruitment chair for our last year, helping to select the next class of betas who also represent these values very well. Lowell spent his last year and a half being one of the most active brothers I've had the pleasure of knowing. As a brother who has regretfully not been able to spend as much time with the fraternity as he would have liked in the past, I have only known him for a short time. Thankfully, Lowell did ask me to be a part of his movie, which is how I really got to know the incredible man that he was. Unfortunately, I do not have a lifetime of memories that will remind me of his honesty and compassion, but the impression he has made on all of us in Beta and all of us here in such a short time is so profound that I know I will have a lifetime of memories ahead of me that are shaped by Lowell's inspiring character. Now, I know that Lowell loved symbolism and metaphors, so I thought I'd share one of my own in reflecting on this time. There's a wonderful piece of music by John Cage titled 4 minutes and 33 seconds. The song is performed by having the pianist or other musicians walk on stage and take their initial bows. They take their places at their instruments, and that's it. They sit there for 4 minutes and 33 seconds in complete silence. They get up, take their final bows, and walk off the stage. I think this is particularly funny because the audience members have to sit and contemplate that they just paid money to listen to musicians sit with their instruments. But the piece forces the audience to listen to the music that is being made around them. The squeaks of moving shoes and shifting seats, the delicate pings made by dropped items, the underlying drone of the running air conditioning unit above. Whether they realize it or not, the audience is listening to the music that there is when there is no music. And I actually was thinking about that right now when we were in interludes between films, and there's a baby who is obviously loving everything that's happening. So I just think there's a lot of beauty in the moments that we don't really think are important. So this is kind of how I think about Lowell's passing. He was a song that was full of vibrant melodies and complex harmonies, the kind of song that you listen to and it completely turns your day around. And when you listen to it, you can't help but realize that something so simple as a song can make a huge impact on so many people around. But when that song isn't there, there still is music playing. Lowell has taught me that it is so important to cherish all of the little moments that give us a reason to smile. All of the small interactions with other human beings that make us feel alive and loved, because sometimes life is way too short. We don't have time to worry so much. So, thank you, Lowell, for teaching me how to live life to the fullest, how to love and be loved by the friends and family that you care about, how to unconditionally show support for people that you don't even know yet. You have touched everyone around you in a very significant way, and the brothers of the Delta Omega chapter of Beta Theta Pi will hold your memory high as a symbol of what we hope to be in our lives. I love you, we all love you, and we will miss you very much. Thank you. I believe Michael Tobin is coming up to speak.
Hi guys. For those of you who don't know, I was Lowell's roommate for the past 2 years at the University of Maryland. You go into college hoping that the person you meet, the roommate that you are assigned right now, will be someone you get along with, someone who is a friend, but you don't think that that person's going to become your best friend, your first friend at the university. And that's what Lowell did. And to me, especially now looking back, but throughout the past 2 years, I thought about it, and it was really the small things that Lowell did every day, and for everybody, that really just captured my heart and made me one of the best roommates that you could ever get. We did so much together that I don't have time to tell you story after story of us watching the mountain sea, going to Slices to get macaroni pizza, 2 a.m. It's just so many things that Lowell wanted to do, and that he was so enthusiastic about doing. I couldn't say that. It was the small things, the things where it was my birthday on May the 9th, actually, and he stopped the music at 11:59 and made everyone in the room sing Happy Birthday. For those of you who don't know me, I'm not the type who wants to be the center of attention and get a Happy Birthday sung to me. I'm just like, okay, let's just go. But it was that kind of thing that Lowell wouldn't let go. Even if he was just like, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to go home soon. He would do it for you because he was that kind of person. He was that kind of friend. I like to try hard. I like to know what I'm doing. So one day I locked my books in the Anne Arundel Library. And I was freaking out because I had a math test, and I'm not about to fail my math class. So I go up to the room almost in hysterics because I don't know anything about whatever I was doing. That math. And Lowell's like, oh, okay. He gives me a hug. He's like, where's your stuff? He walks down with me. And I don't know what he did, but it was locked, and then all of a sudden it wasn't locked. I'm like, what happened? He's just like, it's all good, man. It's all good. And to me, that meant the world. Lowell was, as I like to say to him, he was accepting to a fault. We would go to, have a gathering at one of the people's houses, and it's just like, he was the person who was like, bring 6 people with you. We had 6 people, and then by the end of it, there's 30 people in the lobby. I'm like, they're going to kick us out. What are you doing? You can't show up with all these people. And Lowell's like, no, man, I'll find a way to make it work. And you know what? He always did. Lowell was taking way too soon. I miss him every day, especially now that finals are over and I don't have anything to distract me. Just reflecting. But, it's this reflecting on the good memories that has gotten me through these past couple of days because there's so many of them. And while I'm heartbroken for us all, and for myself, for his friend from home apart, for his family, for his Leah brothers, for his humanities, for community people. And there's so many people that Lowell touched. As we said before, I'm glad that I got the chance to know him, and I got the chance to know him, because he truly did make my college experience and all of our lives what they are today. So thank you all for your kindness. Thank you for your acceptance. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Hi, my name is Ellie Musgrave. Um, I was Lowell's girlfriend in senior year of high school, but I was really lucky to have been able to have him as a friend for my entire high school career. We met in ninth grade and became friends after we both realized that we were both really into Eddie Izzard as a comedian, which is something that most 14-year-old, I guess 15-year-old boys at the time wouldn't pick up on. But I was very lucky to have him as a friend throughout all of high school, especially senior year, which was very, I guess, difficult just for me personally. A lot of my friends, including Lowell, were getting into colleges and accepting offers and getting accepted places and doing amazing things. And I went into senior year with a GPA of 2.3. So, didn't really make sense for us to go out on paper, but no, he was an amazing influence, and for someone who had a lot of trouble in high school. He was always someone who wanted to, as so many people have testified to, make a smile happen, to bring some kind of happiness, even if it was after a full day of math class. You know, all the different things that we went through. We would get in his car, and he would put on some song, any song that he thought, you know, would make me happy or would bring me some kind of happiness. And you know, I kind of forgot about everything when I was with him, and he had the ability to bring people together and to be a friend to so many people, as we can all see. But he also had the ability to make you, as a singular friend to him, feel really special and really unique, and like you mattered a lot. I'd like to, I guess, get this out of the way. But the night before I heard, it was the Monday night, and it was before I had received a call. I lived in New York, and I was at a diner, and the only channel they were playing on television was playing the Yankees and Rays game. I'm a really big Red Sox fan, which means you're very interesting. And I said, you know what? I don't have to, you know, let me watch the game. Let me see who's pitching. And of course, it's CC Sabathia. But I just wanted to say that it's a little difficult for me, but I really do hope the Yankees take it all the way this year. There we go. But I also wanted to say that it just kind of testify to some of the smaller things that have come to light recently. There's a video game in which one of the captions is one of the turning points in the game. The game tells you suddenly memories of Princess Zelda come rushing back to you, and that's kind of exactly what happened when I heard that Lowell passed away. All the small memories. We didn't say in great contact, which I now deeply regret. But I always knew he was there if I wanted to come home and see him get a Chipotle burrito. And, you know, I've had, for the past couple weeks, I've had to grapple with the fact that it's a little late. But one of the slightly more personal memories was the last time I saw him was in August of 2013. It was the night before I went away for college in New York City. And we had just finished watching the Yankees-Red Sox game in his parents' house, sitting on the couch with the cushions that sunk into you. And I was crying because I knew it'd be a long time before I got to see him again. I knew it was the end of our relationship. But so we get in the car, and I'm expecting him to put on a song. And instead of choosing, you know, something a little meaningful, he's a big Led Zeppelin fan, we both love the Beatles, he puts on the I Don't Like remix by Kanye West. Which at the time, but, yeah, you know. So, but the point of it was not to you know, listen to Big Sean. But the point of it was to make me smile and to let me know that everything would be okay. And that's a lot of what I'm trying to remind myself of now. I have a short statement to read from Adam Maisto, who was another friend of his who unfortunately could not make it. but I think it's a nice way to go out. As we congregated at Lowell's visitation in College Park a few weeks ago, everyone I talked to agreed on the same thing. Nobody that we knew had the ambition, the compassion, or the pragmatism that Lowell showed on a daily basis. We all knew people with one or the other, but none of us had met anyone of age, let alone Lowell, that showed these traits with such ease. He was the type who always knew what to say and when to listen. He genuinely cared about each and every person that he crossed paths with, and every passion that consumed his life was exactly that, a passion. Not only that, but as he would find out the ambitions of others, he would become enthusiastic about those too. I was finally able to realize one of those ambitions, to meet my grandmother's family in the Philippines, partially because Lowell never stopped asking if I had gotten my flight tickets yet. I am there now, but with Lowell and all of you in spirit. I'll remember Lowell as a dude who loved the Yankees, The Godfather, and breakfast food. But more than any of that, he loved his family, he loved his friends, and he loved life. Lowell Ensel lives on through all of us as we carry that love forward. Thank you.
So it only makes sense for me to get up here and tell a baseball story. So most of you guys have heard Lowell called by his nickname Mr. Sunshine. So I want to tell the story of how that nickname started. So junior year of the baseball team, we had a little fundraiser. It was like a home run derby. You get up and hit balls hard again and very fun. So it was going on, and we had a guy up in the PA booth at the stadium. As he started with that, he would give a little introduction, say a little bit about the player. And so myself and a few other guys on the team thought it would be funny to play a little joke on Lowell. So we went to the guy in the booth and said, when Lowell comes to bat, like, make up something ridiculous about him, like, just go crazy. And so Lowell gets up to bat, and we hear, now batting is Lowell Ensel, also known as Mr. Sunshine. In his free time, Lowell enjoys long walks on the beach, writing love poetry, and cuddling with his poodle. And at the time, well, really guys, really, like, come on. And we thought it was hilarious. But after that, he was a little ticked off. But eventually, he embraced it, and it stuck, which I didn't even know until, like, a little while ago when I saw everybody calling him that. I didn't even know that he had stuck with the nickname. So, and I think that it's just really been a nickname for him because that's just what he was. He was Sunshine. There's really no other way to say it. You can try to describe it, but he was Mr. Sunshine. That's the way it is.
Hey everyone, I'm Trevor. I've known Lowell since I was 3 years old. I was at the Tacoma Park Child Development Center in Tacoma Park. I have a couple stories. I think it's really important to share stories about Lowell just because, you know, I don't know, I've been with Lowell my entire life, so I know a lot of things about him and, you know, all the weird things and whatnot. But this one story I told last time, but there's a lot of new people here. So Lowell and I were hanging out on like a Wednesday, and I had a biology test the next day, and I didn't study for my test. And Lowell was like, "Yo, Trevor, let's go over and hang out with Brody, our fraternity." Like, well, I need to study for my test. Like, all right, I mean, I guess, man, like, go ahead. But then I went instead of studying, and I'll just tell the brief version. So, you know, I brought my textbook, didn't really read it. I looked at the front page. But so we hang out there, and then we're going back. It's like 11 p.m. and there's a Royal Farms in the bottom of this apartment building. So we go in, and we'll Krispy Kreme donuts. So he goes up and he buys 6 donuts. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing for 11 p.m.? Why are you buying 6 donuts? Like, jeez. And so he eats 5 of them in like 10 minutes, and he gives me one. That's Lowell. But it gets better. And then so we're walking back to the bus stop, and we're crossing legally. There's a crosswalk, and the car has the red light. It says, "Do not turn on red." And we're walking, and the car just hits us. I was just like, "Oh man, dude, we just got hit by the car." Sorry, that was JD inspired voice of Lowell. Because he was in the car, he didn't say sorry. But then we went to the bus, and we got on the bus, and there's this basketball player named Charles Mitchell, and he's a big guy. So we got on the bus, we sit down, and Lowell turns to me, "Hey, look, it's Charles Mitchell." And then he goes, "What's up, Charles?" And he goes, "Hey, man." And I was like, "Dude, he just said hi." That was a really fun night, but I have 3 more stories to tell you. So if anyone's seen, you've heard of the beer Coors Light, this is not what you think. Anyways, so there's that commercial where it's like the Coors Light train, like it goes through like the Rocky Mountains and like delivers Coors Light to everywhere in the United States. So last semester, Lowell and I took Government 200 International Relations. Yeah, my only class we took. And we had this final paper, and Lowell's writing the question was define terrorism. That's it. It was a really good paper. I read it, and there was not much I could edit, because Lowell was a perfectionist, and he was a really good writer. But we got distracted a lot because we went on Facebook, obviously. And there's an Onion article, and it's like a news article about how the Coors Light train crashed and the world is coming to an end because there's no beer left. And so Lowell was like, we're rolling on the ground, like laughing at this. We watched it 5 times in a row. Instead of writing these papers about like terrorism and defining like a utopian future. And it was just, you had to be there. It's just like using it like, oh, we're fine. Oh, right now. Yeah. And then, all right, 2 more stories, sorry. Lowell has quirks, we all have our quirks, but one thing I just thought was hilarious is like I walk around with Lowell on campus a lot, and there's a lot of cars on campus, you kind of have to be aware. So Lowell would like cross the street, like, and I'd be with him, and like he'd like take the lead, and he'd like put his hand out. He'd like it's like he was like saying like stop, like do not hit me, like usually you walk across the street and like you're like, oh, thank you for letting me walk, but it was like stop, you're not crossing the street right now. You have to wait. And I was just like, every time he did, I was like, oh, what are you doing? Like, just say thank you. Like, you're not, maybe he got hit with a car. Like, well, yeah. But, yeah, all right. And then the last story I have. So Lowell and I interned on Capitol Hill this last semester. And it was a lot of early mornings of us, like, barely making the bus. And, like, with our suits, like, totally, like, our shirts undone, like, our ties around our neck, our belts undone. Because, we had to get at 6:45 and then snooze the alarm until 7:30 and take a shower in 15 minutes. And so, we were really tired all the time, and Lowell hated coffee. But he was like, I just have to start drinking coffee. So, this was like the first day. We went to this training hosted by Lockheed Martin at the Capitol. We had to learn about learn how to use this program. And Lowell's like really tired. And so there's a Keurig machine. And so I had to teach him how to use the Keurig machine because he had no idea. You just pop in and press the button and it's coffee. Anyway, so he made a coffee and he sits down and it looks like milk. And they're like, yo, Lowell, like, is that coffee? He's like, yeah. And I try some. He put 5 packets of sugar in this little cup of coffee. I was like, Lowell, this is like sugared half and half. This is not coffee. He just looks at me and he's like, I don't know, man. And so then, it's just like, what are you doing? But then we're walking back from this training, like, it's kind of cold outside, and Lowell starts going on a rant about how, like, it's so hard to plan out all this filming, and, like, I was always the ear listening to all this, like, frustration, because, like, people have things to do. I'm like, Lowell, like, we're all in college, I know it's hard, like, he was trying to coordinate filming for in the midterm. And I was trying to explain to him, Lowell, we're all like here in college. We all have our own lives. Like, I know it's not perfect. Like, I have to do things. David had to do things. Noah, Molly, we all had to do things. But he was getting so frustrated because someone couldn't come to a shoot the next day. And I was like, Lowell, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. And he's like freaking out. And he's like, pop a blood vessel or something. And I'm like, I just listened to it. I'm gonna. And but then when he shared his Keystone presentation, at the end he was standing up there and he started to up a bit, and I realized that all that passion and whatnot, it was just because he wanted to do the best job he could, because it meant so much to him that he did it for his friends, and this is for my friends. And so, there's just that passion that Lowell had for everything. I kind of realized that now, even though I gave him crap for it, and I had to listen to it, so I'm chewing my ear up all the time, but he always had good things to say. And so, lastly, I'm interning in Chicago this summer, and I was sitting in my apartment, and it kind of finally hit me. Who am I going to be walking around campus with? Who am I going to go get Chipotle with? Who's supposed to live in the room next to me in my next year? And it doesn't make sense, but, Lowell taught us all to live life to the fullest, but, he's an extremely impressive human being. I can't really wrap my head around it. I don't think anyone can, but, I'm glad that I have all these memories and silly stories, and there are many more if you want to. Thank you, sorry.
My name is Emma. I believe you didn't see my name. I'm going to try to keep it relatively light and short. As Ellen and I have been finding out about the entire thing, everyone was Lowell's best friend, so I'm not exactly sure what category I fall under. It might be white. That's to say, we were kind of like the mom and dad of these people. And that is, I would feed everyone and Lowell would get angry about things like traffic and baseball. And I never really thought to put my friendship or feelings about Lowell into words. I'm still finding it pretty impossible. So what's the thing? And so I wanted to share with you guys just a few many things that are very Lowell specific to me. And that got me to be my So in 8th grade, or all of middle school, Lowell had this sweatshirt. And I must have been super passive aggressive about how much I liked it because like some Christmas he bought one for me. And it was hilarious. It's funny. But I was wearing that in 8th grade, which I don't know how that looks, but I had a teacher who I wore it one day like right after he bought it, and he was like, that's really inappropriate. But it's funny, what do I wear? And so, I was like, get that for forever. Another thing from middle school is on a Phillies card, he took a MySpace profile picture of me and wrote my name, my cell phone number, and relationship advisor. He actually pasted it on a Phillies card, which I thought was funny. And I always thought this was hilarious because, like, of course, you're something while you're always helping me, like, talking to me about girls, like, who prints out a card and, like, you are my relationship advisor. And so I kept it, and it's just sitting in my room, and so, like, almost every break I'll come home and I'll, like, find it, and it's funny, and then Lowell will come pick me up, and stop from bed. And I was like, Jim, I still have it, and he's like, well, it's still true, so that was pretty cool. And then another thing is this drumstick. April of 2014, Lowell did his first rock concert, which was Kansas Solo, which I'm sure is a band that some people are now familiar with, because when Lowell likes something, it's like, it is Lowell. And so, originally, he had talked about, like, slicing it in half and throw that in or whatever ridiculous thing. And that didn't happen, but then I remembered that it existed, and we just found it in his room, which was, like, great, because I really wanted it. But the thing that really got me, in a good and bad way, I started sobbing, but it's like a laugh that turned into a cry, was that he labeled the bottom of the band and the date, which is just like, who does that? And, it's great, I'll never not know the date, and I have a little piece of information, so that's awesome. Also, I practice book. So, I don't know if you guys know, but Lowell ate the same thing for 13 years. And that healthy dinner that someone was talking about, or the nutritious dinner I think Eric was talking about, that's pasta and cheese and broth. Almost every night. Sometimes very fun, sometimes not so good. And so what we have is a chocolate horizon milk, a thing of applesauce, a Rice Krispie treat, which I'm sure the college park kids, you know, being very much still liked. A bag of smart food, which sometimes, if you didn't want it, you'd throw it on the table and we'd go at it like vultures. And then finally, not just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that is wrapped in parchment paper. And was wrapped in parchment paper every day. And so, all of these things, in one way or another, are things that make me think of Lowell. And to me, what that really means is just warmth and comfort. But when I felt like an insane amount of comfort with one another, we took a road trip in high school, and we stayed overnight at one of Alex's friend's houses. And we got there pretty late, so it was like high hour, you know, like we were going to sleep. Like, she was showing us the place, and she went straight to the bed and like on the bathroom. And like, here's like the couch or whatever, you know, for the other one of us to sleep on. And we were like, okay, cool, thanks, and said goodnight, and went our separate ways. And then we just like looked at each other and crawled into bed and went to sleep. And we were like, why would we not? You know, like there was no concept of a need for a separate couch or whatever nonsense. And we just had, I don't know, this closeness that I can't remember ever not existing. There was just a sense of knowing each other and never feeling like we needed something more or different from one another. And we are very different people. We were just content, but more than content. We were incredibly happy because regardless of where we were, what we were doing, that was what made it fun, each other's company. And Lowell and I were never, there's no romantic side to our relationship. There never was going to be, no Adam, like, say differently if you asked him. So we were never, you know, intimate, but in a lot of ways, Lowell was a love of my life. I do and will miss him unbearably. And I'm making Ellen, you raised that hell of a kid. And we're all going to live with different hearts now, is what someone told me. And I think that's very true. And if that means that we're all going to live a little more like Lowell, and then that will repair it.
Hi everyone, my name is Joshua, or JD, and I've been friends with Lowell since elementary school. I don't really remember meeting Lowell, it just feels like I've always known him. And from the beginning, we really got along through our arguments. I feel like in the beginning, we were like brothers who were only getting along when we weren't getting along. We mainly connected through sports, and even when we were little, we were always competing about everything. Backyard with football, and pickup football games, and video games. And even from back in elementary school, Lowell's house was always the place we hung out, and I've been there more than probably any other place in my own house. It's really just like the second home to me, and your own house is like somewhere that you live at, but Lowell's house was where I went to be myself and hang out. And in middle school, we were just as close, but just as competitive, and I think we really grew up together, going through all the awkward middle school years with long hair, dating, and all the other things 11 and 13-year-olds do. But in high school, we really continued to be best friends with our group, no good, introduced ourselves. But things kind of got to the point where we knew each other too well, and we would get frustrated with each other. There was even a time when Trevor and I were banned from being at Lowell's house together. I'll just briefly tell you a little bit. So we'd always sleep over at Lowell's house, because we always slept at Lowell's house. And the couch upstairs that sinks in is probably because we had 5 people sleeping on it very frequently. And so we'd all sleep over at Lowell's house and stay up really late watching movies. Sometimes we'd fall asleep because he'd make us watch movies with the lights off, because that was the only way to watch movies. But it'd be like 3 a.m. and the lights would be off, so we'd fall asleep. And then Lowell would go forward and be like, you sleep right now? I was like, yeah, Lowell, it's pretty late, you turn the lights off. Like, if you kept the lights on, he's like, we're watching a movie, I can't keep the lights on. Alright, Lowell. And then, so the next morning, we'd all like wake up to like 11 or something, eat like English muffins with marmalade, like part or something like that. And then Lowell would be like, yo, it'd be cool if you guys could like leave like around 11 or something. And I'd be like, oh, dude, like, my mom picked me up at like 1, and then Trevor'd be like, oh, yeah, dude, like, I can't leave till like 2:30. And Lowell would be like, are you guys serious? Like, I need to go do something. Like, dude, Lowell, you didn't tell us, man. Like, oh my God. And we just keep taking us so seriously, even though we could have left any time. but Trevor and I were just like working at him, like getting him all worked. He was like, I can't believe you left. I said, oh my God. And one time, I told this story before, one time we slept at Lowell's house for 2 days straight during the Snowmageddon freshman year. And we like came over with like a bunch of us with like soda and chips and everything. We played snow football outside in the street behind his house. And we just hung out watching movies and sledding. And the second morning, Trevor and I were downstairs eating like Cheez-Its for breakfast and like English muffins. And we had some soda left over. So we had some soda for breakfast. And Lowell would like always get mad if we drank too much soda. And he just came downstairs and like thought was like, really? You guys are really drinking soda for breakfast? Like, dude, what's the problem, man? He's like, I can't believe you guys. It's like, just like that, we get really frustrated. As a result, I mean, as I mentioned before, we kind of started to know each other too well, and I feel like there was a time where we had some tension, and a period where we were still friends and had the same group of friends, but we're kind of frustrated with each other. And I remember the tension, but it still kind of felt like I had to make an effort to be mad and angry at Lowell instead of just being friends like always. And it's honestly hard for me to remember exactly how it was because when Lowell passed away, Lowell and I were at the point where we were such close friends. But at some point or another, as we got older, I came to realize that all the quirks and weird mannerisms that Lowell had weren't something to get upset or worked up about. They were just who he was. And maybe I needed to make an effort to not instigate things and start big arguments. And either way, the last few years of high school, we were best friends and came to really love and appreciate each other for who we were. And when I went away to college, that didn't change anything. And in fact, I think distance makes you realize even more the value in the friends you have and which ones really matter. And Lowell was one of the ones that really mattered. We didn't have to talk a lot when we weren't on break, but when we were back, nothing was different. In fact, if anything, I feel like we realized more than ever how important our friendship was and the connection that we had. And the night before I left for sophomore year, I had dinner with my mom, my dad, Trevor, and Lowell. What else would I have done? And Lowell was always someone that was going to be there and a part of my life. And on our most recent break, we hung out a few times, including one night I went over to Lowell's house and we sat on the couch together working on editing different movies we were working on. Like, we didn't even talk for like an hour. We were just sitting working on movies next to each other. And then we played a few video games, spending time with each other to enjoy being together. And I don't really, I kind of remember the last time I saw him was he dropped me off at my house after hanging out for Thursday, spring break. But I don't really have a vivid memory because I wasn't concerned about seeing him again. I just knew when the next day or when I came back in the summer, I was just going to be there. And we talked a few times, but over this last semester, after spring break, but I just knew I was going to come back and everything would be the same. And I feel like right now, all the memories are so vivid and it still feels like he's here, but I just haven't seen him yet. And the reminders of him and his presence are just so strong. But over time, it's really, the whole is going to get bigger as we realize that the memories that we have of him are all that we have left. And the last time we talked, Lowell told me how proud he was of me for something that just happened. And on my birthday a few months ago, he told me that I had better go ham because the world and him expected nothing less from me. And I will go ham for you, Lowell, and I will make you proud. It won't be the same without you, but I will still do my best. Thank you, Lowell, for everything. I love you. I will cherish the moments and memories that we had together. I will miss you forever, but you'll always be important.
That I have to apologize. It's a little bit of a regret. It's a little embarrassing. I'm sorry, parents. But I think it really had my mom said it was okay. And I think it really embodies like who Lowell was and how amazing he was. So it was my 18th birthday, and we were all hanging at my mom's house. I think all of these guys were here, but they had all left by that time. And it was me and Lowell and Emma and our friend Tori. And we were sitting around kind of like, what do we do? And Emma, as she always does, decided we should go wake my 13-year-old brother up. And as she did, and always did, going, oh, leave it, oh, leave it. Lowell thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. In fact, every time I saw Lowell, he'd be like, hey, how's oh, leave it? And, you know, this is a testament to how much Lowell included everyone, younger kids. He loved my brother, you know? That's amazing. That's an amazing thing for a friend to do. But anyways, I can't remember how we got this idea, but being excited teenagers, we were driving, and I think we were going to get to CVS to get ice cream or something, and someone said, hey guys, it's trash day. We should split the trash can. I'm sorry if your trash can was split, it won't happen again. And Lowell was like, yeah, let's do it. We're blasting music as was necessary when in the car with Lowell. And, you know, running out and flipping trash cans, and Lowell just thought it was like the funnest, you know, we were all having such a great time. But I'll never forget how Lowell just thought that was the best thing ever. And, you know, he was like, this is what you do on your birthday. And it's just like a bright, happy moment, and my little brother was part of it. And, you know, Lowell always said, every break when we came home, he said, we gotta do that again. And every time, you know, my brother would be like, when's Lowell coming over? We have to do that again. As silly as it is, I'm really sorry that we all did this. But I know, you know, it hasn't been easy for any of us. And we all realize how many people love Lowell, how many people surround him, how many people are here. And there's nothing that can make it better, but I think Lowell would have wanted us to live stronger, love harder, laugh harder, and, you know, really love each other a lot. We love you, Lowell.
Hi, I'm David. Just like maybe Trevor, I've known Lowell forever. There was not really a time where I remember him not being with us. There was no time like, oh, we don't really know each other. It's like, fun. There are two stories that I've been thinking about a lot lately. One of them is, so Lowell and I played baseball together forever, and there was news that a hurricane was going to come in. It was not that strong of a hurricane, but it was said to be a hurricane. So we decided that we should play wiffle ball outside during the hurricane. And, you know, this wasn't in high school, we were like middle schoolers, so I don't really know why our parents allowed us to do this, but we did it anyway. So we were out in Lowell's backyard playing wiffle ball, the wind is swirling around us, it's raining extremely hard, and it was just a lot of fun, and surprised that we didn't really get hurt. It wasn't that strong of a hurricane. I think it turned into like a tropical storm or whatever. It was so just a really fun moment where we just didn't really care about the consequences. We just wanted to play some baseball. Another story, or another thing that happened. So we always talked about Lowell's house when we were young. And when we were so young, Lowell's parents they slept on the same floor as us. And so we'd have to stay up really, really late if we wanted to drink soda and stay up later than that. So when we were still young, Lowell's parents said that you couldn't have more than 1 or 2 soda a day, really just like one. But we would always wait until they went to sleep. And then we'd go to the fridge and take like 6 sodas for us, stash them under his bed, and then drink them throughout the night. And we would have a glass of cold water so that we would spray it in our face so we would stay up. Because Lowell was obsessed with staying up to a certain time. He was like, okay, we're staying up till 3 a.m., we're going to do it. And we would take any kind of precaution to make sure that we stayed up to at least 3 a.m. And then at that point, we were just going to sleep. But it's just little things like that made our friendship so strong, and I never really, whenever you would come back from school when I was a senior, or breaks this last year, we wouldn't really like say, hey, we need to catch up. We would just kind of say, hey, like, handshake that, whatever. And then we would just lie on our couch and we'd watch a movie, hang out with a friend. Just kind of pick up where it was. That's what made Lowell really special. And one thing I'm gonna really learn from him is not take any friendship for